Let's get started. How many of you were there on the session that happened a week ago? Can you just put it up, put on chat if you were there, yes or no? There was a session that happened in person at KG College. Okay, Jishnu was there. Wonderful. Anyone else was there? There are 15 people. So Siddharth and Nam Podna Padimunu, not Pandan answer the part now. Was there, was there, was there. Vivek was not there. Logesh was not there. Cool. So, not that there's going to be much of repetition or anything, but there may be some points that might come across which you may feel, kind of something that's overlapping with what we spoke last time. So, I usually typically like to start off all my sessions quoting Mahakavi Bhardiyar and these lines that Mahakavi Bhardiyar spoke, which says, Agni Kunjandru Kandene Yangur Katilor Pundirai Vaiten. Vendu Tanindadu Kaadu Talal Veerathil Kunjendrum Upendrum Undo, which basically means that I took a spark of fire, I left it deep inside the forest, and the next day morning when I came, the entire forest was burned down to ashes. That's the power of the Indian youth, is what Mahakavi Bhardiyar said. For you and me, especially for those of you working on this particular event at GDG, that spark is nothing but your idea. Your idea is like the spark that can burn down the entire forest. It can metaphorically, it can change the entire world. So all said and done, in the next 30 days, whether you win or you don't win, whether you do a good code or don't do a good code, remember this, that you have been blessed with the opportunity of thinking of an idea, and the more you fuel that idea and the more you give it oxygen, that idea can change the world. That's the power each one of us in this call or in this room, virtual room, has. So never ever forget that. What we will do today is, there are three things that we would like to do today. Number one, I would like to talk to you about perspective and why perspective matters. Sid, I'm assuming this is not being streamed, right?
Oh, no, it's not streamed, it's just recorded.
Yeah, cool. Okay. The second part that we will talk about is why we need to be innovative, why we need to be right brain thinkers. And finally, we will talk about why storytelling matters, right? So we will talk about storytelling and how can you use storytelling for building Wowsome pitches, as the topic says, because all of you in the next few days are going to be making pitches, okay, as part of this competition. But that's not my priority. My priority is the kind of pitches that you're going to do for your life, whether it is a job interview, whether it is a campus recruitment, whether it is for you to get a grant from the government, whether it is for you to submit a project to a large scientific organization and get it approved. Those are all different places where you're going to be getting to pitch and tell your story. So we will talk about that in detail. But before we start with that, I would like to talk to you a little about my story in life, so that you are able to connect the dots when I speak later on about the importance of story and storytelling. I started my career working for three of the largest companies in the world, ExxonMobil, Total, and Shell. I was handling various roles in these companies across various geographies. And somewhere in 2004, I did the stupid thing of buying a book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad and reading the book. And after reading the book halfway through, I decided, boss, I want to become an entrepreneur, or Tolil Munevor Agno Apni Solite. I told my boss that I'm quitting, and I became an entrepreneur, and I quit my job at Shell at Pune, and I came back to Coimbatore with just my suitcase and nothing else. So since 2005, I have been an entrepreneur. Jishnu, on the screen, you see the photograph of a person, but the person looks very different. Why? Jishnu, yeah.
Yeah, maybe that's how you were. I mean, I'm sorry, give me 1 second. Let me think. Sorry.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, whenever when I become entrepreneur, I become free. I become independent, and I have a lot of ideas, and I become a superhero.
But why the cape on this person?
Yeah, because he's a superhero.
I'm sorry?
Yeah, he's a superhero, right?
Superhero, right? So all entrepreneurs, all Tolil Munevor, so to say, we think we are all Superman. Okay. Pantic mala jatti podra tavara baki ellame vandu Superman mari da nammaloda attitude, right? We want to we want to be like Superman kind of a thing, and we think we are Superman. So with that attitude of being a Superman, I started my first business venture, which was into designing race bikes. The business failed. I lost a lot of my money, and then I said, what to do next? And then I was stupid enough to say that, okay, let me go ahead and start my next business rather than going back to work. So the world gave me a very fancy tag called serial entrepreneur. The point I'm trying to make to all of you here is, you will see all these fancy designations and jargon that on people's LinkedIn, and when people talk, and when you see these TV serials, which are those what do you call dramatized startup kind of events. I don't want to take the name of the series because then I'll get sued. But the point is, they will all make it look like entrepreneurship is a glamorous thing. It is not a glamorous thing. You will face failure, and you have to use those failures to move to the next step. So when I failed, I was stupid enough to say that, okay, I will still go ahead and I will still start my next venture. So started my next venture. My next two ventures were failures as well. My second venture, I bled a lot of money. The third venture, I had to put it in hibernation because my investors pulled out when the 2008 financial crisis happened. So once you go through a lot of failure, what happens? You become like Deadpool, right? Right? You keep hitting him, and Deadpool keeps coming up. So failure does that to you. The lesson for you and me in this is that the faster that you fail, the stronger you become. A lot of us do not take a risk or try to tread the easy path because we're afraid of failures. But if you fail earlier, at your age, at Vivek's age, Jishnu and Vivek, if you fail, you can still survive, you can still manage. But at my age, when you're like 45, then failing is not an option. So the message for all of you is that try to fail as fast as possible. Take risks. What I mean by failing is not that you will fail, but take risks. Do something. Don't stop yourself from doing something because you might fail. So that's the message that I'm trying to give to each one of you. Based on those failures and the strength that I got, my next three ventures were successes. My fourth business, I exited profitably. My fifth business, I exited profitably. My sixth businesses was a really very, very profitable exit. I made a lot of money. And then for the last 13 years, 14 years, I have been something what I call as the survivor entrepreneur. என்னன்னா காசு சம்பாதிக்கிறது முக்கியம் அல்ல, கஷ்டம் அல்ல. பட் நம்மளுக்கு பிடிச்ச விஷயத்த பண்ணிட்டு உலகத்தை மாத்திக்கிட்டு காசு சம்பாதிக்கிறது கொஞ்சம் கஷ்டமான விஷயம். Luckily, for the last 14 years, I have found that calling of mine. I run this company called Presentim. We are one of the very few presentation strategy companies in India. We have around 630 plus startup founders who are our customers all over the world, including Antarctica. So I have one customer in every single continent of the world. So what I'm going to do today is use all these life experiences that I've gained and my profession of being a business storyteller to give you some insights into how each one of you on this call, I can't see many of you, so I don't even know whether you're there, which is kind of an irritating thing, let me be honest. But still, we will go ahead for the sake of Jishnu and Vivek, because they have both turned their cameras on. So today's class is only for these two people. The other people, I'm do with you till you put your cameras on. So we will do that in the next 30-35 odd minutes. And then at the end, we will try to have a Q&A so you understand what it means. So before we get into the actual session, let's do a small exercise. And this exercise will require you to take a piece of paper and a pen. Just take a sheet of paper and pen, just a small exercise for all of us to work on. But honestly, if cameras are not on, I'm not sure how this exercise is going to work out. Said, what's the general rule? People don't put their cameras on because it's a virtual event.
Yeah, like till now, that's the norm for the last 3 days.
That's the norm. So what we will do is, for the sake of the continuity of the session, I will skip this activity. Vivek and Jishnu, no need to take the paper. We will skip this activity because without people putting their cameras on and without me able to see what they're doing, this activity will become irrelevant because I can't give feedback unless until I see what they're doing. So what we will do is we will just go here. Cool. We will get into the topic, and thank you, Adish, for putting your camera on. What we will do is we will get directly into the topic, and then we will have a little more time to do a Q&A. So, like I said, today's session is about storytelling. The first question that comes to my mind is, why do we need storytelling? எதுக்கு ஸ்டோரி டெல்லிங் வேணும் நம்மளுக்கு? ஸ்பெஷலா நான் இன்ஜினியர், நான் பிகாம் பண்றேன், சரி நான் பிசிஏ பண்றேன், ஐம் அ ப்ரோக்ராமர், ஐம் அ கோடர். எனக்கு எதுக்கு சார் இந்த ஸ்டோரி டெல்லிங்? Why do I need the storytelling? Yeah, you can put it on chat. If you don't want to answer, you can always put it on chat. Drisha, Logesh, Vivek, Adesh, Purnasri. Easy to understand, okay? Thank you, Drisha, for putting your camera on. Yes, Drisha, you're saying something?
Connect better with the...
You can connect better, okay? Anything else? You can unmute and talk to me, or you can put it on chat. Yes, Vivek, you were saying something?
It's about empathizing, the first thing. And when we start to say stories, right, people will listen to you, because we are trying to make a connection, right? When it has been like, it's my friend, I had a friend, he had a problem. Obviously, it will be like, they may also try to understand that they may also have a friend. So, and the connection, that is very, very important. So when they see some kind of a connection or bonding, the story, they will feel like they'll stand on my foot and try to see my vision. So for that, story telling matters a lot.
Cool. Wonderful. Thank you, Ranjita, also for putting your camera on. So good. Now there are 5 people for whom I'm taking a class. So remaining else still do with you guys. Cool. So let's find the answer to why do we need these stories. So how many of you know what the theory of relativity is? Einstein's theory of relativity? Just give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. You've heard of it, right? All of us have heard of it. Whether we know or no, it's different. At least we have heard of it, right? So I have this friend called Mohan, who is actually working on the theory of relativity. Mohan is in Palakkad, and he works for the Indian Space Research Organization in Trivandrum. And Mohan recently won the Kerala State Lottery, which is like 1 crore of rupees. And then when you earn something for free, right, without doing hard work, what do you do, Drisha? வேலையே பண்ணாம 1 கோடி காசு கிடைச்சுனா என்ன பண்ணுவாங்க?
We'll not know like where to spend.
We will spend, right? We will not forget, not know where to spend. We will spend. We will not probably save, right? So Mohan decided that he wants to go to Las Vegas, because from childhood, Mohan has always had a fancy for Las Vegas after seeing all the James Bond movies. So Mohan is sitting in Las Vegas. He's playing roulette, Russian roulette in a casino, and he had already earned like 12 lakh rupees from the first 2 rounds of playing the roulette. When he's playing the 3rd round, a beautiful girl comes to him and says, "Hey, you look very interesting. Can I offer you a drink?" Right? And if you're a good Indian, யாராவது ஃப்ரீல சரக்கு கொடுத்தாங்கன்னா வாங்கிடணும், correct? You take the drink and you drink, although you have 1 crore and 12 lakhs in your pocket. So Mohan took the drink. He drank. 1 drink led to 2, 2 led to 3, 3 led to 5. And the next thing Mohan knows is that he's lying in a pool of blood in an old godown in some kind of a bathtub. மோகன் வந்து உடனே பயந்துட்டான். என்னடா இது, நம்ம வந்து ஜாலியா என்ஜாய் பண்ணிட்டு இருந்தோம், ரூலே விளையாட்டு இருந்தோம். Suddenly I am lying in this pool of blood, like blood splattered all around, and I'm worried what's happening. So he calls up 911, and the lady on the other end says, "Sir, tell me what happened." So he says, "Ma'am, my name is Mohan, and I'm from India, and I was playing roulette here, and this is what happened to me. And I don't know why I'm kind of lying with a lot of blood around me in some destroyed kind of a place." So the operator says, "Sir, can you tell me what you feel on the back? Put your hands on the left side of your body and tell me what you can feel." So Mohan puts his hand on the back, and he says, "Ma'am, I feel there's some kind of a rubber tube there." So she says, "Sir, I'm sorry. Your kidney has been stolen. We are really sorry. This has been happening to a lot of Asians who are coming to our city, because we have a large donor waiting list. There's a gang that's been heisting kidneys of people. So, but don't worry, it's not something by which you will die. We will treat you, and we will make sure that you go safe to your country." So they treated Mohan, and they took him to the hospital. They kept him there for 2-3 months, and then recently Mohan came back to India with a promise never to ever take a free drink. But the reason I wanted to talk to you about Mohan was because of the work that he's doing on Einstein's theory of relativity, which is very important for storytelling. and we will learn about what the theory of relativity is. So the theory of relativity usually encompasses two interrelated theories. It introduced concepts including four-dimensional space-time as a unified entity of space and time, relativity of simultaneity, kinematic and gravitational time dilation, and length contraction. In the field of physics, relativity improved the science of elementary particles and their fundamental interactions, along with ushering in the nuclear age. With relativity, cosmology and astrophysics predicted extraordinary astronomical phenomena such as neutron stars, black holes, and gravitational waves. Ranjita, you there? Ranjita is not there. Okay. Vivek, can you tell me the theory of relativity?
Definitely not.
Definitely not.
It's very tough.
Rishabh? Vishnu, என்னோட ஃப்ரெண்ட் மோகனுக்கு என்னாச்சு?
He lost a kidney.
எப்படி என்ன what was the reason behind that?
Because he went for a work, went for a drink, which is free of cost, or free drink. Because
Okay.
of that, he lost a kidney.
Super. So the question is this. நான் இப்ப சொன்னேன் theory of relativity படிச்சேன் just now, right? Vivek and Drisha and Jishnu don't remember it. But how is it that Vivek, Jishnu and Drisha remember Mohan's story which I said 5 minutes ago? And that is exactly why we need stories. We need stories because we want people to remember what we said much after we have left the place. So in an investor pitch, the investor is not going to sign the check immediately. உடனே யாருமே கையெழுத்து போட்டு கொடுக்க மாட்டாங்க. ஒரு கஸ்டமர் பிட்ச்ல வந்து கஸ்டமர் உடனே ஆர்டர் கொடுக்க போறது இல்ல. ஒரு பாஸ் கிட்ட போய் பிட்ச் பண்ணீங்கன்னா பாஸ் உடனே உங்களோட ப்ராஜெக்ட் அப்ரூவ் பண்ண போறது இல்ல. What you really want is when they go back home after 2 days, 3 days, suddenly they remember, hey, இந்த ஜிஷ்ணுன்னு ஒரு பையன் என்னமோ ஒன்று சொன்னானே வித்தியாசமா இருந்தது, கொஞ்சம் நல்லதா இருந்தது, அவனை கூப்பிட்டு பார்க்கலாம். That is what you want. And that's why, my dear friends, we need stories. We need stories because we want people to remember and then act upon it. So what exactly is a story? What is the difference between the two narratives I gave? I gave two narratives, one about Mohan, one about theory of relativity, right? இது ரெண்டுக்கு நடுவுல முக்கியமா ஒரு வித்தியாசம் இருந்தது. இதுல யாரோ இருந்தாங்க, இதுல யாரோ இல்ல. அது என்ன? Who is that person? Or what is that?
There were characters in one and there was no character in that.
Wonderful. So on the character ku இன்னொரு better word கொடுக்கலாமா Drisha? Human beings. So the storyteller's secret is nothing but making it human. The moment you understand that in front of you, it is not a product designer, it is not a Google developer, but a person called Siddharth Gangadharan. It is not an investor, but a person called Pradeep. It is not a professor, it is not a technical guy, it's just a human being. Then you become a storyteller. இன்னைக்கு என்ன ஆச்சுன்னா நம்ம நிறைய பேர் வந்து we forget that we put facades for people. Hey, this is a techie guy, I should talk to him only in technology. Hey, this is an investor, I should talk to him only about money and all those things. But we forget that behind that facade or behind that wall is a human being. So the moment you make it human, you start becoming a storyteller. So how do we become better storytellers? We become better storytellers by understanding what are the different components of a good story, which is what I will tell you in the next few minutes. So you understand what are the different components of a good story. Number one, stories take things that are complex and make them simple. Okay? Mohan story, simple. யாருனாலயும் புரிஞ்சுக்க முடியுமா? ஒரு படிக்காதவனால கூட மோகனோட கதையை புரிஞ்சுக்க முடியும். Theory of relativity, complex. You need to know physics, you need to know science, but you need to know English. And even then you might not understand what theory of relativity, right? So just to make you understand this example a little better, there's something called as a Flesch-Kincaid test. The Flesch-Kincaid test is basically to give ratings to different kinds of documents. So normally நம்ம படம் பார்க்கும்போது rating இருக்குல்ல, adult rating, PG rating, universal rating, 12, PG-12 or PG-13, which defines which is the kind of person above who can watch the movie. So if it is 12, which means only people above the age of 12 should watch this movie, kind of a thing, right? Similarly, for books and documents, there is something called as a Flesch-Kincaid test, which kind of says what category of a person is suitable to read this document and can understand it. So they took all the speeches that Steve Jobs ever spoke and ran the flesh Kincaid test on it. And do you know what was the rating? Grade 6 level. So everything that Steve Jobs ever spoke was at the level of a 6th standard student. The CEO of one of the best companies in the world, one of the biggest technology companies in the world, when he spoke, when he presented a speech, it was always at grade 6 level. Because Steve Jobs understood that for me to be a better leader, to be a better storyteller, I need to make it simple. In the year 2003, when Steve Jobs was asked to launch the iPod, the iPod was basically like Spotify in a small device kind of a thing. So the iPod had 2 gigs of memory, 4 gigs of storage, an aluminum body that could withstand temperatures up to 1942 degrees centigrade, a waterproof casing that could withstand water pressure up to 642 meters below the sea level, a processor and a chipset that was 10 times faster than the latest processor and chipsets available in the market. And yet when Steve Jobs went to the stage, do you know what he said? He said, ladies and gentlemen, today I bring to you a device that will let you carry 1,000 songs in your pocket. அவ்வளவுதான். அதோட டெக்னாலஜி பத்தி பேசல, அதோட பாடி பத்தி பேசல, மெமரி பத்தி பேசல, பஸ் ஸ்பீட் பத்தி பேசல, எவ்வளவு மெகாஹெர்ட்ஸ் பேசல, சிப்செட் பத்தி பேசல, எதுவுமே பேசல. He did not even utter one word relating to technology. He said, I present to you a device that will let you carry 1,000 songs in your pocket. So what happened to people like me, the boomer generation? The moment someone says that 1,000 songs in your pocket, டே மச்சான் என்னடா சொல்ற, 1000 பாட்டு பாக்கெட்லயா, right? Because for me at that point of time, carrying songs meant I had to carry a tape recorder cassette. The cassette on one side used to have 4 songs and the other side 4 songs. So which means 8 songs per cassette. My playlist was around 800 songs. So think of it. I had to carry over 100 cassettes in my car just to listen to my favorite songs. So when someone comes and tells me I can carry something this small and still have 1,000 songs, what happens to me? I say, wow, right? What did Steve Jobs do? He simplified the purpose of the technology for me. எனக்கு வேணுங்கிறது அவ்வளவுதான். அது 4 megahertz இருக்குதா, அது 800 megahertz இருக்குதா, 2500 megahertz இருக்குதா, அது டெம்பரேச்சர் 1000 degree தாங்குமா, 2000 degree தாங்குமா, I don't care. All I care is இதனால எனக்கு என்ன. So simplifying is the first job of a story. A story always simplifies complex stuff. The second thing that stories have as a very important ingredient is stories take abstract things and convert them into concreteness. What's abstract? What is concrete? Yeah, anyone? What do you mean by abstract? What do you mean by concrete?
So abstract is like a very basic idea of what it is in very complex terms, I guess. Concrete gives a better dimensional idea.
Okay, kind of okay answer. So what if I tell you that every box of popcorn, okay, theater போய் popcorn வாங்குறீங்களா, ஒவ்வொரு box of popcornலயும் 3.56 milliliter or milligram of trans fat is there. Okay, trans fat is supposed to be very, very bad for your heart. நிறைய trans fat சாப்பிட்டா heart attack வந்துரும். Okay, 3.5 milligrams of trans fat in every box of popcorn that you eat. When you go to buy popcorn at the theater next time, what will happen? Will you not buy? All of us will still buy, right? Who cares about 3.5 milligram of trans fat? Now, if I tell you that every box of popcorn, the amount of bad oil in that box is equivalent to the amount of bad oil in 6 samosas, 1 fully deep fried chicken, half a kilo jalebi, and half a kilo Bengali sweets. இதுல எல்லாத்துலயும் இருக்கிற எண்ணெய் கட்ட எண்ணெய் தான் ஒரு box of popcorn இருக்குது. Now tell me what will happen when you go to the theater. You will still end up buying popcorn, but this time you will pause for a minute. You will think of all these things and then you will say, okay, chuck it, I will still buy it. What did I do? I took an abstract concept called 3.5 milligrams and I made it concrete in the form of 6 samosas, half a chili chicken or a half a chicken and half a kilo of jalebi and whatever. So abstract na என்னன்னா கண்ணை மூடி பார்த்தா அது தெரியலனா அது abstract. கண்ணை மூடி பார்த்து அதுக்கு ஒரு உருவம் கிடைச்சதுன்னா அது concrete. தமிழ்ல சொல்ல போனா that is what it means. So if I close my eyes and I can't see it and define it, it's abstract. If I close my eyes and I can define it and see it, it is concrete. Stories take abstract things and convert them into concreteness. Let me give you an example so you understand this better. You were 5 years old when your party told you doing hard work is very important. You should be a hard worker. Tell me, for a 5-year-old, does he or she understand that? What is hard work? What is important? I don't know. So party என்ன சொன்னாங்க, ஒரு காக்கா இருந்தது, அது பூத்த பானை தட்டில தண்ணி இல்ல, கல்லு கொண்டாந்து போட்டு தண்ணியோட லெவல மேல ஏத்துச்சு, தண்ணியை குடிச்சுச்சு. இதுல இருந்து என்ன தெரியுது, நம்ம கஷ்டப்பட்டு வேலை பண்ணோம்னா நம்மளுக்கு லாபம் கிடைக்கும். So கஷ்டப்பட்டு வேலை பண்ணணும், hard work பண்ணணும். Abstract concept, hard work is important. Concreteness, kaka and the pot story. And the most brilliant way in which this has been used in the world is in converting an abstract concept called God into something concrete that all of us can understand. If you look at all the religions, they all point towards one thing, that there is a supreme power. இப்ப நீங்க வந்து ஒருத்தன் வேலை பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கான் ரோட்ல, அவங்க கிட்ட போய் அவன் படிக்காதவன், சார் ஒரு சுப்ரீம் பவர் இருக்கு சார் உலகத்தை, அதுதான் ஆட்டி படைக்குது, எப்படிங்க இருக்கும் பாக்குறதுக்கு, ஐயா தெரியாதுங்க. டச் பண்ணி பார்க்கலாங்களா, ஐயோ தெரியாதுங்க. அது ஃபீல் பண்ணி பார்க்க முடியுமா, ஐயா தெரியாதுங்க. அதுக்கு ஏதாவது உருவம் இருக்குதா, ஐயா தெரியாதுங்க. Now tell me, will that guy understand? He'll say you're an idiot, he'll run you off. So what did our forefathers do? They realized that we don't understand abstract things, so they created forms for different gods. Whether it is Hinduism, whether it is Christianity, whether it is Islam, Buddhism, whatever, they have given a concrete shape. So for Buddhists, it's the Buddha. For Christians, it's the cross. For Islam, although it is a religion that predominantly does not give importance to idol worship, or rather doesn't believe in idol worship, but still in every Muslim household, you will see a photo frame of Mecca and Medina, which is nothing but giving concreteness to that concept that they call Allah, right? Because the normal human being cannot understand something that is abstract. So storytellers always use concrete things. நீங்க பேசும்போது முன்னாடி இருக்கவங்க கண்ணை மூடி பார்த்தா நீங்க சொல்ற விஷயம் அவன் மண்டையில ஏறுனா, அவனுக்கு வந்து ஒரு உருவம் கிடைக்குதுன்னா அது அவன் புரிஞ்சுக்குவான். உருவம் கிடைக்கலன்னா அவனால புரிஞ்சுக்க முடியாது. தியரி ஆஃப் ரிலேட்டிவிட்டி, கண்ணை மூடி பார்த்தா ஒன்னும் தெரியல. மோகன் கதை, லாஸ் வேகஸ் தெரிஞ்சிச்சு, மோகன் தெரிஞ்சா, கசினோ தெரிஞ்சிச்சு, எல்லாருக்குமே ஒரு உருவம் கிடைச்சு. Right? Anyone who doesn't understand Tamil on this call, please just put it on chat, so I'll avoid going too much into Tamil. Stories take facts and convert them into emotions. What do we mean by this? Did you know that 65,700 Indian women die every year due to cervical cancer? கர்ப்பப்பை புற்றுநோயால் வருஷம் 65,700 பெண்மணிகள் இந்தியால செத்துட்டு இருக்காங்க. The only cancer which has a vaccine. There is no other cancer which has a vaccine. This is the only cancer which has a vaccine, which is just $1,500. 2 times coffee at a barista cafe is all that it needs for a girl to safeguard herself from this cancer. Yet, in India, 65,700 women die every year. Did any of you feel sad? All of us felt sad, right? We felt sad hearing this, right? Why should 65,700 women die, although there's a vaccine to it? But did any of you feel so bad that you want to, disconnect this call now and go and try to do some research on cervical cancer? Not really. What if I told you that every 8 minutes, 1 Indian woman dies of cervical cancer? Every 8 minutes. In the class, na eduthu mudikkiradhukulla 6 பெண்மணிகள் 7 பெண்மணிகள் கர்ப்பப்பை புற்றுநோயால் செத்துருப்பாங்க. The only cancer that has a vaccine. Now tell me, did you feel a little more disturbed in the second instance? Yeah, you did, right? But if you're good at mathematics, you'll know that 60 divided by 8 multiplied by 24 multiplied by 365 is equal to 65,700. So why? So I gave you the same data point. I did not change the data. The data was the same. Why did you feel emotional in the second context? Because the moment I said one Indian woman, immediately உங்க மைண்ட்ல யாராவது ஒரு உங்களுக்கு தெரிஞ்சவங்க வந்திருப்பாங்க. It could be your friend, your neighbor, your colleague, your mother, sister, someone. And what's your relationship with that someone? It's an emotional relationship with that someone, that one person. And the moment there's an emotional relationship, you start caring about that person. ஐயோ என் ஃப்ரெண்டுக்கு இந்த மாதிரி ஆயிடுச்சுன்னா என்ன பண்ண போறாவ, right? So you are emotionally connected. So stories take facts, which is 65,700 Indian women die every year, and convert them into emotion so that people start caring about it. Because now you feel a little more responsible that you should do something about it because you feel emotionally connected to it. Stories take consistency and build in the unexpected, right? What does this mean? Let's take Jishnu. Okay, Jishnu, who's your favorite heroine?
Trisha.
Trisha or Drisha?
Oh, Trisha.
Trisha, T for Tamil, right? There's a D for Delhi here. She might think, ஐயோ any heroine நினைக்கிறாங்க அப்படின்னு. Okay, பரவாயில்ல த்ரிஷா, நம்மளும் ஹீரோயின் தான். ஸோ நீங்க வந்து ஒரு படம் பார்க்க போறீங்க ஜிஷ்ணு. ஓகே, த்ரிஷா தான் அதுல ஹீரோயின். படம் ஆரம்பிக்குது. த்ரிஷா எந்திரிக்கிறாங்க, சாப்பிடுறாங்க, காலேஜ் போறாங்க, வீட்டுக்கு வந்துடுறாங்க. 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 3 மணி நேரம் ஜிஷ்ணு இதே சீன் ரிப்பீட் ஆயிட்டே இருக்குது. படம் பாப்பீங்களா? ஏப்பா உங்களுக்கு பிடிச்ச ஹீரோயின் 3 மணி நேரம் பார்க்க கிடைக்குது.
ஒரே விஷயம் திருப்பி நடக்க
கரெக்ட், பார்க்க தோணாது. இப்ப விவேக் வந்து சொல்றாரு, பிரதீப் சார் நீங்க என்னத்த படத்தை எடுப்பீங்க, நான் எடுக்கிற படம் பாருங்க, ஸ்ரீ ஈஸ்வர் காலேஜ் நாங்க எப்படி படம் எடுப்போம்னு அவர் விவேக் சொல்றாரு. ஓகே, யூ ஸ்டில் வித் ஈஸ்வர் ஆர் யூ சேஞ்ச் விவேக்?
Still in Ishwar.
ஓகே, நான் உங்க காலேஜுக்கு பாருங்க, அட்வர்டைசிங் பண்ணி கொடுக்கணும் அப்படியே. சோ விவேக் வந்து படம் எடுக்கிறாரு. இந்த படத்துல வந்து த்ரிஷா எந்திரிக்கிறாங்க, சாப்பிடுறாங்க, காலேஜ் போறாங்க, வீட்டுக்கு வந்துடுறாங்க. எந்திரிக்கிறாங்க, சாப்பிடுறாங்க, காலேஜ் போறாங்க, வீட்டுக்கு வரல. உடனே ஜிஷ்ணு உங்களுக்கு என்ன ஆகும்? என் த்ரிஷா ஏன் இன்னும் வரல வீட்டுக்கு, ரைட்? You start getting excited, you start getting agitated, you start getting involved in the movie. Because the human mind or the brain is a muscle that doesn't like anything that's consistent and repetitive. It likes unexpected things, ups and downs. நீங்க எடுத்து சினிமா படத்தை எடுத்து பாத்தீங்கன்னா, any movie that you see or any book that you read, any story that you read, if you draw a graph like an engineer, the graph will always be a flat graph initially and then there will be a sudden spike. அந்த ஸ்பைக்கு தான் வந்து எப்போ வந்து படத்துல திருப்பம் வர்றது, ஏதோ ஒன்று சம்மந்தம் இல்லாம வருது, வில்லன் வர்றது, இல்ல அந்த ஊர் எரிஞ்சு போயிருது, இல்ல ஹீரோ ஆக்சிடென்ட்ல மாட்டிக்கிறான், ஏதோ ஒன்று நடக்கும். So the graph goes up and then there's a struggle with the hero and the villain and the heroine or whatever. The graph goes flat and then again it comes back to normal and they happily live ever after. Any story, Harry Potter, they're all jolly, ஊருக்கு போறாங்க, காலேஜ் போறாங்க, ஸ்கூலுக்கு போறாங்க, சம்மர் வெக்கேஷன் போறாங்க. சடனா பம்பிள்டோர் காணாம போயிடுறாரு. Graph goes up and then there's a fight. So every single story will always have something unexpected or out of the consistent because the human brain loves contrast. It doesn't like consistency. So when you tell something to an audience, try to see if you can bring in something unexpected that they never expected. Stories take knowledge and convert them into meaning. What does it mean? I will show you a graph. This is a graph of the blood pressure measurement of 100 employees in a company. Okay. Now let's say Siddharth is the CEO of that company. I show this graph to Siddharth. Siddharth, unga company la blood pressure la paathamba idamba blood pressure measurements. What will Siddharth do after looking at this? Can he do something first of all? Maybe, maybe not. Now,
Actually, your screen is not shared.
screen not shared.
No, it's working. இல்ல it's working.
இத்தனை நேரமா கிளாஸ் எடுத்துட்டு இருக்கேன்ப்பா. ஐயோ, யா கோகுல் உங்களுக்கு தெரியுதா?
Yes,
இல்ல
yes, brother.
it's going well.
Okay.
Maybe like
So,
internet unstable இருக்குன்னு நினைக்கிறேன்.
Okay. So Drisha, you saw this graph, right? The bar graph. If you are the CEO of the company, can you do something after you look at this graph?
Looks so complicated. Like I couldn't
Let's
take
go.
a step from it.
Now,
Now that looks better. Like I have a better idea of how it is.
so what will you do after you look at this graph, Trisha? What will be your first inference?
Like I understand like there are a lot of people like this, and I can take in a few steps to reduce the levels of that.
Wonderful. So the moment Drisha or the CEO sees this graph, he or she realizes, oh my God, so many people in my company have high blood pressure. Because the normal is near or around 120, the kind of average is 120 to 129, but after that it becomes dangerous. It's really bad. And 160 to 179 systolic pressure is really very, very bad for a heart. So the CEO immediately gets a message saying that, boss, எங்க கம்பெனில ஏதோ ஒரு பிரச்சனை, ஒன்னா சூப்பர்வைசர் ஹராஸ் பண்றாரு, இல்ல ஒர்க் பிளேஸ் சரியில்லை, நிறைய பேருக்கு ஹை பிளட் பிரஷர். நிறைய பேருக்கு ஹை பிளட் பிரஷர் தான் என்ன பிரச்சனை? நிறைய பேருக்கு நோய் வரும். நிறைய பேருக்கு நோய் வந்தா என்ன பிரச்சனை? அவங்களோட மெடிக்கல் எக்ஸ்பென்சஸ் இன்க்ரீஸ் ஆகும். மெடிக்கல் எக்ஸ்பென்சஸ் யார் கொடுக்குவா? சிஇஓ தான் கொடுக்கணும், கம்பெனி ஓனர் தான் கொடுக்கணும். அப்ப அவன் லாபம் என்ன ஆகுது? கம்மியாகுது. ஸோ அவன் உடனே தலையை பிடிச்சுக்குவான், ஐயோ ராமா இது ஏதாவது சரி பண்ணும். He will start helping his employees reduce their BP by doing yoga or being the medical treatment or getting the medicines, right? What did I do here for the CEO? I took knowledge, which was this, and I converted it into meaning. Meaning na enna? Idunala enakku enna? அந்த கேள்விக்கான பதில் தான் meaning. So when you speak to audiences, let them understand what is the benefit for them out of it. They don't care whether it is 4 gigahertz or 10 gigahertz. They don't care whether it is 100 megahertz, 100 megabytes of RAM or 200 megabytes of RAM. What they really care is, either enala 1000 part eduthukom. Stories always help bring meaning to people. Theory of relativity, as we saw it, doesn't mean bringing. Mohan's story brings meaning to us. Okay, next time I go to Las Vegas, I need to be careful. I should not take free drinks. Right? So stories help convert knowledge into meaning. And finally, one of the most important elements of stories is credibility. Credibility na enna? Naan idu eppadi namburadhu? Mohanoda kadai yen ellarum nambuneenga? The Las Vegas story. Because I said, ennoda friend Mohan. Now you believe in me. So if I am telling about my friend, it might be true. And then I gave all details. Palakkad, Kerala State, Onam Lottery, 1 crore. Las Vegas la casino la velatar, and enna velatar, Russian roulette velatar. So the more details you give, the more people start believing in you, and there's more credibility. That is why when you get these forwards, it will not always be like, do not go out in the sun today between 12:15 and 12:30. It will be like this. NASA has sent a notice which mentions that today you should not go into the sun. Although we all know it is a fake. You start wondering, NASA ku vara valaya illaya? India la na velila poduma vendaman solradha NASA oda valaya. But if you do an analysis, 90% of people will believe it. Because of that single word NASA, they believe the credibility. It's the same reason why almost 1,25,000 Indians ended up spending 15,000 rupees to an ICICI bank account for a job in HDFC Bank. Because the mail ID came from hdfcbankforyou.com. And these people have been so brilliant that they did not even think twice that why should HDFC Bank have an account in ICICI Bank? But because of the way it was masked, there was credibility and people fell for it. So in stories, if you give in a lot of details and if you build in credibility, people will believe what you're saying. So நீங்க presentation பண்ணும்போது நீங்க வந்து ரொம்ப யங்கா இருக்கீங்க, உங்களுக்கு வந்து இன்னும் பேக்ரவுண்ட் இல்ல, எக்ஸ்பீரியன்ஸ் இல்லைன்னா, you start referring to source of repute. Mr. Siddharth from Google Developer Group said that if you do coding this way, it will work better. அதே Drisha சொன்னா பாதி பேர் கேட்க மாட்டாங்க உங்க கிளாஸ்ல. But Siddharth சொன்னா, Siddharth is a well-known guy. Okay, maybe what he's saying is right. So build in credibility through the form of stories, or build stories with a lot of credibility into them. So that said, now let's understand what is the journey we want our audience to do. So let's say Vivek, Jishnu or Drisha, Purnashri and Gokul, I'm not taking your names because you've not put your cameras on. Other people also, I'm not taking your names because you've not put your cameras on. Logesh is there, Mary Teresa is there, Drisha, Gokul is there, Purnashri, Alvin is there, Adish is there, Abhishali, Arjunan. Okay. Anyway, so what's the journey you want? Let's say you guys go to make a presentation as part of the Google developer group. Okay. In the boot camp or in the hackathon முடிஞ்சனா last நாள் நீங்க ஒரு presentation பண்றீங்க. ஹால்குள்ள போறீங்க, அங்க ஒரு 100 பேர் உட்கார்ந்திருக்காங்க. எல்லாரும் போன் நோண்டிட்டு இருக்காங்க, எல்லாம் சலசலப்பு நடந்துட்டு சத்தம் நடந்துட்டு இருக்குது. So what's the first thing you want from all of them? What is your desire? You want all of them to pay attention to you the moment you stand on the stage, right? So how do we get people to pay attention? ஸ்டோரி டெல்லிங்ல ஒரு கம்பெனி நம்ம பார்த்தோம். என்ன பண்ணா மக்கள் நம்மளை எந்திரிச்சு பார்ப்பாங்க? எப்ப ஜிஷ்ணு வந்து படத்தை சுறுசுறுப்பா பார்க்க ஆரம்பிச்சான்?
When something unexpected happens, something contrasting.
Absolutely. So when you do something unexpected, right? So if it's not a very formal presentation, let's say if it's like Google developer group, okay, see if you can do something unexpected the moment you come on stage, like probably putting the latest Eminem song. So what happens? You grab attention. Once you have people's attention, what do you want? You want them to understand and remember what you're saying. ஒருத்தர் நீங்க சொல்றத புரிஞ்சுக்கிட்டு அதை ஞாபகம் வச்சுக்கணும்னா அவனுக்கு எப்படி கொடுக்கலாம்? அதை in story we saw that. How did people believe and remember things? They understood something that they were not earlier able to understand. Yes, just now.
Credibility or like explaining it like
Concrete. When you make things concrete, people are able to understand it. So with people who did not understand God, when we gave them the form of Murugan and Vinayagar and all those things, they were able to understand it. So when you speak on the stage, and let's say you're talking about your technology, make it concrete so that people are able to understand. Sir, நீங்க phone எடுத்து இப்படி fingerprint touch பண்ண என்ன ஆகுது? Phone unlock ஆகுது. இதே டெக்னாலஜி தான் நான் இப்போ வந்து என்னோட காருக்கு வைக்க போறேன் சார். Now they're able to close their eyes and imagine. அதுக்கு பதிலா I could always say fingerprint recognition system is what we have built. Fingerprint தெரியும், ஆனா recognition பண்ணி என்ன பண்ண போறேன் எனக்கு தெரியாது, right? So make it concrete for people so that they understand and remember. Once they understand and remember, what do you want them to do? They need to agree with you. They need to believe in you. How do you make people agree and believe in you? By doing what?
Emotion.
No. When did you believe in the sun rays and the UV rays story?
when NASA is brought up.
Credible. When you make it credible, right? So அவனை நம்பணும்னா அதுல credibility கொண்டாடணும். So இந்த recognition system நான் மட்டும் build பண்ணல சார், இதை வந்து already IIT மெட்ராஸ்ல பண்ணதை நான் replicate பண்ணிருக்கேன். So now you are kind of bringing the credibility. Once people agree and believe in what you say, what do you want them to do? You want them to care. Oh, அப்படியா? இப்படி கூட பண்ணலாமா? Wow, இது நல்லா இருக்குதே. When will that reaction come? When they have emotions. So you make people care because you are telling something with an emotion. Once they care, what do you want them to do? You want them to act. So in a pitch deck, what do you want the investor to do? To invest in your company. In a customer deck, what do you want the customer to do? You want the customer to buy your product. In a GDG presentation, what do you want the judges to understand? Hey, wow, this is a good project that this person has done, and I think this deserves to get the prize. You want them to act. How do you make them act? By telling the whole thing in the form of a story. Now let's get scientific and understand how you can use this for your day-to-day storytelling. So what did we say? We wanted people to pay attention. We said unexpected, understand and remember concrete, agree and believe credible, care, emotion, act, story. இப்ப இதுல இருக்க பிளாக் வேர்ட்ஸ் எல்லாம் தூக்கிட்டா பாக்கி என்ன இருக்குது? இந்த 5 வேர்ட்ஸ் இருக்குது. இந்த 5 வேர்ட்லயுமே ஃபர்ஸ்ட் லெட்டர் மட்டும் வச்சுட்டு மத்ததெல்லாம் தூக்குனா என்ன இருக்குது? UCCES. See if you can make an acronym out of this. Yeah?
Success.
Wonderful. SUCCEX. And the last S is there. So whenever you build a narrative, whenever you build a presentation, whenever you're making a speech, try to give tick marks to these 6 elements. Is it simple that anyone can understand? படிக்காத எங்க பாட்டி நான் கூட புரிஞ்சுக்க முடியுமா? நான் பண்ற விஷயத்துல நான் பேசுறதுல ஏதாவது அன்எக்ஸ்பெக்டட் இருக்குதா, பீப்புள் இது காது கொடுத்து கேட்பாங்களா, டிக் பண்ணு. அதுல ஏதாவது கிரெடிபிளா இருக்குதா, கிரெடிபிலிட்டி மிஸ்ஸிங்கா இருக்குதா, நான் எப்படி கிரெடிபிலிட்டி கொண்டாடலாம், நான் பேசுறதுலாம் ஆப்ஸ்ட்ராக்டா இருக்குதா, கான்கிரீட்டா இருக்குதா, இதுல ஏதாவது ஒரு எமோஷனல் எலிமெண்ட் இருக்குதா. Last week in Chennai, 3 men died by suffocation because they were cleaning an underground drainage manually. Such incidents should not happen in India, and that's why, as part of GDG's program, I have built a robot that will go underground and clean it. When there's emotion, people will connect to it, people will care about it. And then finally, are you telling the whole thing in the form of a story? So simple ஒரு இது எக்ஸசைஸ், ஒரு டூலை நீங்க யூஸ் பண்ணா என்ன பண்ணுங்கன்னா, ஒரு பேப்பர் எடுத்துட்டு மூணு பாக்ஸ் 6 grid of 3x3, sorry 2x3, put it and write SUCCEX SS and உன்னோட ப்ராஜெக்ட் இல்ல பிரசன்டேஷன் இல்ல பவர் பாயிண்ட் இல்ல ரிப்போர்ட்டை வந்து வச்சுக்கிட்டு இந்த ஒவ்வொன்றுக்கும் ஸ்கோரிங் கொடுங்க. If you are able to achieve at least 3 of these tick marks, it means you have kind of built it into a good story that people will remember. And this is a formula that I did not give, but this is a formula that was given by 2 gentlemen, Chip Heath and Dan Heath, who wrote a wonderfully brilliant book called Made to Stick. They tried to do an analysis of why things like Mohan's stories stick to people, they remember it, but things like theory of relativity doesn't stick to people, they don't remember it. So if you want to know more about what I spoke today, go ahead and buy this book. I think it's $250 or $300 on Amazon. If you're a good reader, you can finish it off in 4 hours. If you're a moderate reader, 2 days. And if you've never read a book in your life, 7 days is what it will take you to read this book. But if you read this, you will understand all these concepts that we spoke. But more importantly, if you can start applying this principle of the success in everything that you do, in your conversations, in your communication, in your letter, on the letter, can you match any of the elements of these 6 things? Your presentation, any of these 6 things. The more you make it a habit to try to adhere to these things, the more you become a better storyteller. The more you become a better storyteller, the more you will make people react, remember what you said, the more you will be empowered to make the world a better place. It's been a pleasure talking to all of you. My name is Pradeep Yuvaraj. That's my LinkedIn and Instagram credentials. If you think there's something that I can do to help you with your life, with your career, please do reach out to me. My email ID is pradeep.yuvaraj@prasantam.com. Send me a mail. I will always reply in a day or 2. On Instagram and LinkedIn, I take a couple of days to respond to messages. But if there's anything that I can help you, I would love to do that. It's been a pleasure talking to all of you. Let me stop my sharing. How do I stop my sharing? Is there a sharing button in there? Stop screen sharing. Cool. Any questions? I'm bang on time. Wonderful. Any questions? Any comments?
For the benefit of the fellows who have been applying for this event, what tool you will suggest to create their presentation?
Okay. So, Vivek, like I said, the tool is not really important. What really matters is the story. Okay. Building a PowerPoint or a presentation is nothing but a sidekick. It's just a, supplement. But the main person is you. As the presenter, as the speaker, as the delivery person, you are the hero. That said, if you are not great at tools, go ahead and use a sheet of paper, sketch things, take a photograph of it and put it on your slide. என்ன பெனிஃபிட்? ஒன்னு உங்களோட கிரியேட்டிவிட்டி வரும், ரெண்டாவது அந்த மாதிரி ஸ்லைடு வேற எவனுமே பண்ணிருக்க மாட்டான். ஏன்னா கூகுள் போய் www.google இப்ப டீம் ஒர்க் அப்படின்னு சொன்னா, இப்ப த்ரிஷா என்ன பண்ணுவா, உடனே கூகுள்ல போயிட்டு இமேஜ் சர்ச் பண்ணுவா, ஜிஷ்ணு அதேதான் பண்ணுவா, நீங்களும் அதேதான் பண்ணுவீங்க, நானும் அதேதான் பண்ணுவேன். So the possibility of the images of all the 4 of us are being same is almost 99%. Right? So go ahead and do something creative that way. In my business, when we build PowerPoints, of course, we use graphic tools because we charge customers money for building what we do. So we use things like Illustrator, we use things like Photoshop, we use things like CorelDRAW. That said, you're not going to be doing it commercially. Canva, I have heard, is a great tool which is easy drag and drop. But even with Canva, it becomes monotonous because you see 10 people's work on Canva, at least 7 people's work will look similar. So try to be as innovative, as creative as possible. The story is the key. Mattadellame not very, very important. Yeah.
Hello, sir. I'm going to college. I'm starting my college in like few months. I'm like my dream is to become like a successful entrepreneur. So like my parents say that when I go to a college, they don't want me to go like part-time jobs.
Right.
What do you think about it? Like, should I go to them, or will it give me like a better experience and have a better idea of how to make money? Or, like, what
Okay.
is the better option to do?
If I got your question right, Jishnu, you want to know whether you should go for part-time jobs or no, correct?
Yeah.
That's the question, right? My answer would be any day, what you learn in a part-time job will be 10 times more than what you learn from your textbook. Okay. And I speak of this from my experience. From the year I joined my 11th grade, every year till I finished my college, I was working part-time somewhere or the other. I have worked as a hotel waiter. I have worked as an auto rickshaw driver. I have worked as a salesman. I have worked as a programmer. I have worked as a data entry person. I have worked as a typist. And whatever I learned about customer service, I learned in the hotel when I was waiting tables, giving people coffee. Whatever I learned about sales, I learned selling table lamps to 100 people a day, and not even one of them buying my table lamps. There used to be days when I would meet 150, 200 people, and I will still not make one sale. And that's where I learned my sales. I did not learn any of those things in my MBA nor in my engineering. Okay. So your college is important for you to understand the theoretical aspects, but to really learn about life, you need to get experience. Especially if you're lucky to be in a college where the timings are limited, like morning 7:30 to I think 2 o'clock. PSG cast எல்லாம் அப்படிதான் இருக்குது. தாராளமா 3 மணில இருந்து சாயந்தரம் 8 மணி 9 மணி வரைக்கும் போய் ஜாப் பண்ணுங்க. And there is no job that is a good job. There's no job that's a bad job. Any job is a great job. Just get experience and don't bother about the money. Money is not critical for you at this point of time. What is really critical is getting experience, gaining experience. So become an intern, become a assistant to someone, become a வேற என்னமே இல்லைன்னா உங்க காலேஜ்ல லேப் அசிஸ்டண்டா போய் சேர்ந்துக்கோங்க சாயந்தரம் பேட்ச்காக இல்ல லைப்ரரியில போய் சேர்ந்துக்கோங்க. You will learn so much more there for sure.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. And it will also help you become a good storyteller because you will get so many anecdotes and experiences which you can use when you're talking, right? So, cool. No more questions? Wonderful. So it's been a pleasure meeting all of you. Thank you so much, Vivek, Jishnu, Adish, and Drisha.